Hi, I'm Kimmy with On William Street, and we're here to help you become a more confident quilter, from the piecing to the quilting and everything in between. This week, we are back with a tutorial on how you can make a fun and easy quilt in just a couple days. Don't forget, all the information we're going to talk about today can also be found in our blog post. So you'll find the link below the video. Also, while you're there, don't forget to check out our shop and find your next modern quilting project. So today's project is a little bit of a choose your own adventure. We have two options, so I'm going to kind of go through those for you. First option is I need to save time. I just want to get this project done. I need it done as quick as possible, and we're going to use pre-cuts. So we're going to need a layer cake or 10-inch squares of your background fabric. I just have white. You can find some that are just one plain white color, or you could do like some low volumes, something that's going to give you some variation, but you're going to want one layer cake. We're going to need 30 of those out of that layer cake. Plus, then you're going to need two charm packs. You're going to need a charm pack of all greens or color 1, and a charm pack of reds or color 2. And these you're going to need the full 40. You're going to need 40 out of each of those. So you'll need a full charm pack or 5-inch squares of each of those. Then for the backing and the batting, we're going to do something a little bit different with this project, and we're actually just going to grab ourselves a plushy throw. And this one is 50 by 60. You don't want to go any smaller than that. You can go bigger, that's fine, but you need at least a 50 by 60 plush throw. So that is option 1 of I just need to save time and have this done as quick as possible. Choose your own adventure 2 is I need to save money. I want to save money and do this as cheap as possible. You do that for your background, you're going to grab 2 1/4 yards of fabric and then cut 30 10-inch squares. And then out of these, you're going to actually, we're not going to do the full 5-inch. We're going to cut those down a little bit. And you're going to go through your scrap bins and you're going to cut 40 4 3/4 inch squares out of color 1 and 4 3/4 inch squares out of color 2. So these can totally come from your scrap bins. It's actually where we got ours. These aren't a true charm pack. We got them from our scrap bins. And just find a whole bunch of different prints. It can be 4 or 5 different prints if you have some that have a little more yardage, or it could be 20 different prints, just however it works to get out of your scrap bin. But we are still going to stick with the plush throw. You can actually find these pretty cheap at stores. They're not super expensive. You can buy super big plushy ones, but you don't want to go too thick. It's going to be harder to sew. So stick with the little bit thinner ones for your backing. So now we are ready to go ahead and start sewing. To put this block together, go ahead and grab one 10-inch square. Remember, we need 30 of these total, but we're just going to use one. And then 4 of your 4 3/4 inch squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to place one square on each corner. Oh, actually, before we do that, we're going to fold each square in half, and I'm just going to finger press. You could also iron press these if you wanted to. We just need to see that line down the middle, and we're going to place one on each corner, and we're going to do the 2 greens or color 1 opposite each other. And then color 2 on the other remaining corners. Now, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to sew on the fold line of each one of these blocks. Just sew directly on that line. Now, after we have sewn those corners on, we're going to trim them. We're just going to trim 1/4 inch on the outside of that seam. Now, I'm going to take this over and I'm going to press all of these seams open. Now, these little leftover triangles that we've cut off, do not throw those away. What I'm going to tell you to do is actually to go ahead and sew all of these together. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of little half square triangles you can use to make some matching pillows or a table runner or another small project. So it's basically a free project. So you should definitely hang on to those and do that because we all like free projects. So after you finish that first block, we're going to repeat that. And we're just gonna go ahead, these are all completely random. I just grabbed squares willy-nilly, and you're going to make 11 more. So we're going to have 12 blocks that are going to have the colors on all 4 corners. Then after that, we're going to make 7 blocks that have the red on the right and the green on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need 7 of those. Oh, I must only have 6 in that stack. 7 of those. And then we're going to make 7 that have the red on the left and the green on the right. Now these ones you do need to make sure that you get them swapped because of how they fit in the final pattern. So we need to make sure that we have the 7 with this side, and then the 7 on the opposite side. And then we're going to make 2 green blocks with just 1 square on 1 corner and 2 blocks with 1 red square on 1 corner. So after you've sewn all these together, now we're going to go ahead and lay out the quilt. So to lay this out, we're going to start with our 4 corner blocks, and we're going to put, these are the ones that just have 1 color on them, 1 in the top and 1 in the opposite bottom. And I might need to rearrange these later after I get more blocks in here, but we'll just get them up here to start. And then the 2 green ones on the opposite corners. So after we have the 4 corners up, we're going to be making 5 rows of 6. So we want to grab our blocks that have the green on the right and the red on the left. We're going to be making little bunches of color. So I'm going to be rearranging some of these. For now, I'm just going to get them up there and then I'll move them because I don't want the 2 that match. They're next to each other. Then we're going to need a block there and that one there. So in the middle there, we're going to put the one that has the opposite direction. There we go. Then row 2, same thing. We just want to make sure we grab one that has the red that matches the other 4, the red there. And then we're going to grab the ones that have the 4 colors and put them in. And we're just going to go ahead and repeat this down so that along the bottom you'll have this white space around the bottom as well. Now that we're all laid out, and you can see we moved things around, this is a scrappy quilt, so I'm not gonna worry too much about having like perfect assortment of different things. I just tried to have a nice even distribution. So we don't want like all of our white backgrounds in one spot, or I don't want all of our green polka dots. I tried to just kind of get everything dispersed around nicely throughout the quilt. And now we're ready to go ahead and sew them together. So again, real easy. We're just gonna sew them together row by row, and then go ahead and sew the rows together. Now we got all the rows sewn together. The quilt top is done, and we're ready to go ahead and put it on the back. So like I said, I'm just gonna be using our plush blanket. I'm not gonna worry about any batting or anything else. So you can still go ahead and spray based or pin based this to the backing, however you prefer to do it. I'm actually gonna go downstairs and throw it on the long arm. But if you don't have one of those, you can still do it on your regular sewing machine. So I'm just gonna lay it out. Make sure it's all nice and basted. One little tip on the quilt, these are only 50 by 60, so you only have a little bit of leeway on this quilt. So I actually went ahead and undid the edge. You'll have a little, most of them will have some sort of a sewn hem around the outside. I undid that so that I have an extra couple inches on that. Now, because we are going a quick and easy quilt after we get this laid on, we are not going to do anything too terribly crazy. You can do some simple swirls, or you can even just quilt down the seams on either side of all of the seams of the blocks, or around each of the diamonds, or just some straight lines up and down. Don't make it too complex. We're going for quick and easy, get this quilt done. Also, then it's going to be a nice, super snuggly quilt, perfect for wrapping up on the couch to watch a movie or hang out with your loved ones. After after you have it all quilted, we're just gonna need to bind it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and bind this just like I would any other quilt. I'm gonna cut strips. So you're going to need about 6 strips of width of fabric. For the binding, we like to do ours at 2 1/4 inches. So you're going to need about 1/2 yard of fabric for that binding. And then we're just gonna trim off the extra plush blanket. Be mindful that this is going to probably leave a lot of fuzzies. So just keep that in mind, get your vacuum out, vacuum those all up when you're done. So trim the back to match, add the binding, and then your quilt is done and ready to go. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We want you to be successful. We're here to help. Also, remember you can find all the information that we talked about in the link below the video. That will head over to our blog where we have it all written out. And while you're there, check out our shop, find your next modern quilting project, and we'll see you next time.